So I was listening to a podcast yesterday.
Jadacast?
No, it was a different one.
Oh.
And it was they were talking about how, and I was talking to Brian about this in the car. If you were given the choice to be either to have a superpower, and it's one of these two superpowers, flying or invisibility, and you're the only one in the world that will have a power. That if you turn down the other one, that one is not available to anyone. You're the only one with the power. You have it. Which one would you choose? Would it be invisibility?
Flying or
ability to fly
or invisibility?
or invisibility?
You can turn that shit on and off, right? For invisibility, you're not
Yeah.
invisible forever.
I'm bold. I mean, that's the thing. Is if it's a power, I guess it's something you can turn on and off because you're not going to be flying full time. Like everywhere you go, you're just hovering like a ghost.
All right, go first, Daryl.
I feel like I know what you're gonna pick. Why? Just me knowing you.
Gosh, I don't need you putting my business out there.
I'm not. You are. If you're steering people into a certain particular direction, I would probably go with flying. Do I have to say why?
Well, I mean, like it's just
Because then I can really feel Dragon Ball Z-ish.
Yeah.
Well, that and I don't know, convenience.
Definitely a big time convenience factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traffic will no longer be a thing.
You could go to San Diego every day.
Yeah.
Just
and
like
I
how
could
you want
probably and I could probably get there if I'm assuming because it's a superpower. I'd be able to travel pretty quickly, like fly pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, so are we talking about...
I'm not like 5 miles an hour flying.
So are we
Am
talking
I?
about speed like Superman flight?
this is funny because like this whole podcast that I was listening to was talking about how there was like different like parts of the thought process behind it. First, it's like initial thought. What do you want to do? You think of it as convenience and whatever, and then you start to get logical about it. And like, wait, okay, so are there restrictions? How high can I fly?
In actuality, I had all these logical thoughts, but I didn't want to complicate the matter.
Yeah, right.
I was
But then
actually
that's
about to complicate it.
go for it.
Okay, well, I'll break down them both. So if we're talking about invisibility, I think that the only real use for the power of invisibility is if you're a pervert or a criminal. I mean, because really, what are you about to do? You're probably about to rob a bank, or you're probably about to do something that
You could be a super spy.
Yeah,
a super spy,
yeah.
they're still criminals,
You could be a super spy for the right party.
but you're still a criminal to the other party. But I mean,
Right.
Invisibility is cool and all, but I feel it could probably attract some bad stuff because human nature, you'll get carried away if you're that type of guy.
Right.
However, and then with invisibility, I feel like if you were to even put that power into some type of arena, I feel like eventually you'll die, but you'll die in a very lame way because even though you would be invisible, they still have infrared technology or heat vision, and so they can still
see
kill
it.
you.
Yeah.
Now with flight, at least I could fly. At least I could have fun. At least I could do some heroic stuff. If I want to be a hero, I have the convenience factor, and then also, if I do die doing some type of hero stuff, getting shot out of the sky with an air-to-air missile or something, at least it's cool.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then also, as far as a conversation piece, imagine if you're at a bar and you're talking to a girl, and you're like, "Hey, baby, I got superpowers," and she's like, "Oh, yes, which ones?" Invisibility. Be like, that's kind of lame. that's kind of lame. She'll be like, oh, so you're a peeping Tom with no effort, So I think that if you said to her, "I could fly," we'll take her on a nice.
Show me.
Exactly. Take her on a nice sky date.
And you pull
So
some
one of the
Aladdin
things
stuff.
that they were saying was that everyone who says that they'd rather fly are liars. Because deep down inside, they're just trying to say what they think is more just,
yeah.
But deep down inside, they're like, being invisible would be kind of cool.
Really?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
That was the topic. That was just this discussion that they were saying. Like, some people were saying that. Some people were saying that, if you pick flying, you're more of an extrovert. If you pick being invisible, you have something to hide.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
introverted, but I think,
Yeah.
I think deep down, honestly, like invisibility is kind of lame.
I don't know. I mean, there's some cool things you can do.
Yeah. But I mean, I think like, I guess I'm trying to think of it in my everyday life in terms of practicality and convenience and kind of like how cool that would be just to fly. I don't know.
I mean, flying is cool.
I'm
I
invisible and
it
I
is
still
a
gotta
cooler.
walk.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
also you got to
that's
think like if you're flying, how high can you fly? Is it too cold? You have to,
Well, then you
That's
have
what
an excuse
super-
to make a cool suit now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
super suits are for.
Yeah.
super suits.
Or
Yeah.
buy some Under Armour. Well, some heat gear.
And then, but then if you're invisible, does anything you touch turn invisible, or you have to walk around naked?
which makes you a pervert,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like how I said.
So there's like all these weird things, but it was a cool topic. It was just funny to hear everyone's like different takes on it. And it was a pretty cool.
I feel like we could talk about that for an hour.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what about you then?
Me?
Yeah.
Invisibility. Sure.
Well, okay, I guess we know what Mike is about.
No, like imagine being able to like sneak on planes, be able to fly anywhere you want to go. There's other things you can do besides the the perverted factor.
Yeah, Jordan.
Hey, look. I'm
And
just
besides,
keeping
if
it
someone
real.
asked me you had a superpower, I mean, I am that guy that would want to keep it concealed.
Yeah.
So if I had that power, I wouldn't tell anyone.
No?
Yeah, I'd be like that normal dude.
Okay, you're very humble.
But who's gonna know you can fly?
Everyone that can see you.
That's what a mask is for.
I guess so. Or glasses, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even
I'm
have
no
it.
longer Daryl.
Isn't it funny how that works out?
Yeah.
He just takes off his glasses and be like, oh, I have no idea who that guy is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, me, I want to flex all the time, so I would let everybody know I could fly.
Oh, I was going to say,
doing
yeah, because I'll go walk around naked, all invisible, and walk in front of
You're gonna have to appear eventually.
Yeah, you would, I guess.
Eventually.
Well, here we are in episode 4, guys. We're here for a late one today. We're putting in some of that extra credit,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
because you two are celebrities and we're out at the office all day. That's cool.
Hard at work.
Yeah, that was work. Yeah, that was all
good.
work.
That's all good. Okay, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
I heard it's a late day.
Yeah,
Now that I have my caffeine.
shameless plug. I forgot mine, so I just have a coffee cup. I'm kind of lame. I'm disappointed.
Just for today.
It's an empty coffee cup too.
Well, I can chug it so fast now. All right, so it's the year 2018, and I feel like the climate for how we as human beings is constantly ever shifting. And one of the biggest factors in our lives now that I think has swept across everywhere is social media. In particular, the internet. And so for us as a business, how would you guys say, or well, more so, how crucial is it for a business to embrace social media as a means for communicating their message?
I think social media has really changed the game as far as how businesses operate. I think, and getting the end message to the consumer. Case in point, with the Jada fan base, it's another opening for us to communicate, market, whatever you want to call it. Any new releases, maybe engage with, what feedback is coming from them. Be able to add a little bit of personality to the name.
Mm-hmm.
So then when people think Jada Toys, instead of the Jada logo or whatever popping up in their mind, now they can, through things like this, or maybe through putting our faces up onto our pages, now they have an idea of who's behind Jada Toys. They know, oh, it's Daryl, it's Mike, it's Jordan, right? Transparency is another thing. I think there are multiple levels or things of that nature that social media adds. And I think companies that don't truly embrace social media, they're just going to end up being companies that get left behind.
Yeah, but you see it happening now.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
big time.
Yeah, you see it with some of the retailers and things like that. The ones that don't adopt more social media driven digital media strategy, improving their e-commerce, all of that I feel is kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I feel like it's a real big hubris in a way, you know, for all of these older established companies. Oh, you know, I like to read books, you know, but like for these older established companies who are able to do things a certain way back then, and then to think that way will still work now, it's suicide, you know.
Well, it's the way it is now is people like to get fed their information. They don't seek it out anymore. I mean, there was a point before the internet, really, or just when, I mean, yeah, for as long as I remember, newspapers were feeding everyone their information. They would get delivered to your house, you pick it up and read it. And the internet came along, and people would have to seek out their information. They would have to go to someone's website to find out what's new, any new news. But then social media came by and push notifications. Now everything is getting pushed to them, and they don't even have to seek it out anymore. They just get it fed to them. And if you're not on that bandwagon and you're trying to promote a product, no one's really going to be seeking you up because they're so used to having things force fed to them now.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of jump on those bandwagons.
We also we also live in a time in this day and age where everything is almost immediate.
Yeah.
You know, so to that point of also being kind of fed to you, social media, all these different platforms just make it very easy. I think now that companies are kind of integrating and adopting this strategy where you can place an ad on Instagram, for example, and it's so easy for you to just tap on an image and you have tags popping up saying, oh, this is what he or she is wearing, and it's a direct link to maybe the website page. You can literally do your shopping all at once, in one go, right?
Right.
And
it's
then
all
not
about,
only I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, this is just all about making it as easy as humanly possible for the consumer to find exactly what they need, to make it very easy. You know, you have like your one step checkout process like Amazon does, right? Like it's just super easy nowadays.
Yeah, and that kind of goes along with, like, you know, it's all about the convenient consumption of media and product. Like even when you go with like Netflix, right? Their model is to put all the episodes up so you can binge watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about that convenience of consumption.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things that I really blame for it being really hard to sell toys nowadays. Because when I was growing up, we had Saturday morning cartoons, right? Saturday,
those were the best.
Exactly, right? So you every Saturday you go watch
Yu-Gi-Oh!
cartoons, right? You get up in the morning, you get your bowl of cereal, sit down, and for a few hours you're watching cartoons, you know, until right before your friends call up or ride their bike up to your door and say, hey, let's go out and hang out. Then you have to wait a whole week for the next episode to come out, right? What do you do to hold you off in that week? You get the toys. You buy the toys to reenact whatever you saw in that past episode.
Yeah.
But now you get to watch every episode in one shot. You don't really get that emotional connection, and to be able to like really like just absorb that whole episode.
To relive
it. I mean,
right?
yeah, you don't get to like think about what happened. You just keep going on and on and on to every episode until it's done, and then you're on to the next one.
That's an interesting point because, say, for example, with shows like, well, Dragon Ball Z, if anything happened and it was a cliffhanger, it really left a big impact on you. And you were thinking about it all week. You know?
Right, exactly. And then if you go to the store and you see, you know, and you see a commercial like, oh man, they have the Dragon Ball Z, you know, whatever character, and you're like, yo, I gotta pick that up because you know that I'm into this character, and you're invested for what, months rather than hours.
That was what I was going to add to what you were saying. Like, if we're going to use Dragon Ball Z as an example, let's say it's like one episode per week, right? Every, I don't even know, I'm making this up, Friday, Saturday, let's say. Every Saturday you had something to look forward to for months at a time.
Yeah.
Whereas in today's day and age, it's binge watching a season of something for like, 8 to 10 episodes, and you're done, and you have to wait like a year or more.
Yeah.
I hate that.
You know?
Yeah, like Game
Then
of
you
Thrones
get
now.
almost angry at the property or at the show rather than feeling like, oh man, I love the show still. But then now you have to wait so long. You're like, okay,
Like what else is there to hold me over?
yeah, yeah,
You know?
And then, but you have to move on to the next thing.
yeah.
yep,
So, with that fact in mind, I don't want to sound like that sort of old guy who's like, oh, you damn kids with your technology now, and things are so fast and immediate. But do you think that maybe had a corollary effect on companies, well, maybe like us, as to where now we have to produce things faster than we did in the past, maybe, or like for these other their brands and products, if they have to make something faster or come up with some type of content quicker than they would have had to 15 years ago. And is that also a positive thing, because now everybody has to step up their sort of A game,
right. Well, part of it I think is if it's a brand new property, right? So it's a brand new cartoon and it's coming out and they're gonna do this whole like binge watch kind of episode, like 10 episodes in one shot thing. You have to really have confidence in it to be able to develop towards it. Because if it doesn't work or if people don't like it, then you made all this product that won't sell. So your better bet is to make sure that there's like product or a show that has a history already. So that's the better bet. It's you have some kind of history to go on and be able to produce towards, because that the people do like this property.
It's been proven.
Yeah, it's been proven, exactly.
That's a track record.
Yeah,
I see.
but if not, you are taking a big risk. But there's other things that are involved that help us to determine whether or not it's going to be a good property, and also like when you're developing, we don't have to develop quicker because they're probably developing the show maybe a year, 2 years in advance, trying to get all those episodes all ready to go. So we have some time to be able to develop towards it. It's just, do we believe in it? Will the customers believe in it? Will the buyers at the retail stores believe in it?
Okay, interesting.
I think when you're talking about, again, bringing it back to like this day and age with just kind of the world that we live in with and the rise of pop culture, really. Say let's use movies for example. They come and go, right? And Marvel is a very good example of this, because they've built up their entire cinematic universe through the span of 10 years now. And so then people become so invested into, if you've been following them, you get so invested into them, and to see it all come together full circle in Infinity War, right, is really, really cool. But then now bringing it back to the toy collectible product side of it, well, you only have a certain amount of time for your product to live on that shelf, right? So like Black Panther, for example, you time it out a few weeks prior to the movie for it to be on shelf, because it's the hype leading up into the movie, and then the movie hits and there's even more hype and people are trying to go out and find like any cool Black Panther collectible that there is, and then movie starts exiting out of theaters, right? So you have this cycle,
and then the DVD comes out, or the digital download,
right? And it spikes again, but you only have this window, right? And that's what makes it now a little bit more difficult, I think, because not only do you have a window, you're playing in a limited shelf space, and you're taking on the potential risk of saturation within the market also, because everybody's going to want to try and get into it, right? So that's another thing that we typically face.
Do you think that's that kind of thing has been going on throughout time, or is that a product of our binge watching consumption?
I think it's more, the way I see it currently right now, I think it's more of a product of the whole binge watching thing, because things are coming and going.
Yeah.
And nothing's really, it's not like those Saturday morning cartoons,
right,
where it's just one episode at a time, and things kind of get dragged out for months. There's some sort of longevity. And even though there might be, I guess you can see it as a longevity in a way for a brand like, I don't know, like Stranger Things, for example, going on to season 3. it's season 1 done, wait a year, season 2 done, wait another year, right? And then if you consider that longevity, I guess, but my view of it is
It's kind of artificial.
yeah, you know, that's kind of how I see it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, what did this come from? This came from all social media. how we
But to that point, like, kind of diving back into the past to see how it's really changed and affected, you know, where companies are today, how people consume media today versus how we used to back then.
Yeah, you know,
right.
Well, back then, you know, it was the newspaper, it was the radio, and then the television. Now in today's world, you know, it's a blog, it's a vlog, and a podcast.
Well, now think about the vlogs and stuff like that. So now there's these shows that aren't even serialized. They're just a bunch of episodes that these you know, people are making, whether it's a young kid or it's an older couple or whatever, you know, talking about toys, and kids love it. Right? They watch it over and over again. They'll watch an episode 10 times in a row on repeat just because it's, you know, for them. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I feel like it has a similar like blueprint though,
All of them do,
where you're kind of talking. Okay, if you follow your favorite vlogger on YouTube, for example, chances are he or she, the content creator, is rolling out maybe 2-3 episodes a week. You know, if that, and granted, it's not a full-on TV show where usually the cartoons are like half an hour, right? These vlogs can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe at most, and they're rolling this out every few days. It keeps you engaged,
right?
It's not like, let me record this vlog. I'm gonna roll it out so everyone can binge watch it, and then I'm gonna stop or take a break.
Well, yeah, they're kind of the more they're more. Like consistent. They constantly.
There's a constant consumption of content there, which keeps people engaged.
Yeah, but if you like, I'm just talking about my friends' kids. What they do is they'll watch a few episodes of this one vlogger, and then they'll put it on repeat and just keep watching the same thing over and over again because it's for some reason they just they just love these episodes. They'll still watch all the new ones, but they'll still go back to the old ones. I guess, you know, it's like everyone has their favorite episode, but like if you sit down and watch these things, it's just people opening boxes or just their hands playing with a product. It's a new type of like entertainment to me. It doesn't seem like the content is really no brain content, really. I mean, I'm not saying that what they're doing is bad.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. You know, why I'm trying to figure out what that psychology is, why these kids love it so much.
Yeah, like Twitch and all that stuff too. Like, it's almost like if kids nowadays, they would rather see somebody else play a video game than themselves actually play the video game.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, neither do I.
But I just don't understand it.
My inclination to that is just because it's probably relatable to them.
Well, I think part of it also is not everyone can be a really good player.
That too.
Right? And you like and appreciate watching people who are really good. I mean, why do we watch professional sports? You know, not all of us can be a professional basketball player.
Speak for yourself.
What? But yeah, you know, it's kind of like that, right? But to donate a bunch of money to these guys while they're playing games, I mean...
Yeah,
that's a little different. That to me that trips me out.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
but more power to them. You know, they're hustling. They're doing their thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of categorize it a little bit too. Where for streaming on Twitch I think there's an entertainment value to that because whether the streamer has a personality, or maybe can offer some sort of I don't know. I think that's that's a kind of a different entertainment value. But for YouTube videos for kids watching other kids doing an unboxing or things of that nature, I think it's more of a relatability type thing where they I guess that's where the whole term of influencer comes from.
Yeah. I kind of feel like it's like, they kind of want to see people who are in a slightly higher position in life
aspirational
than they might be.
Yeah,
but
that's
not,
the word. Aspirational.
Yeah, but not too high up.
Yeah,
like people don't want to see Jay-Z.
Yeah,
vlog.
It's obtainable. They're a little higher. They're up, and you're right there on that cusp of becoming that. but they just like seeing it. I guess. And
then
I can see that.
if they're aspirational, then they're kind of like, oh, so and so is doing this or into this. That's so cool, and then it kind of steers, this kid or person into this same direction of like, well, so and so is doing it or so and so is collecting this. I think it's pretty cool. Let me go check it out.
Yeah.
And that's the social digital age.
Yeah.
And that's how it's really changed the game. I think especially when you're talking about marketing.
Well, how do you think these guys originally started promoting their videos? I don't think they bought advertising. How do you find these things?
I think, in my opinion, timing has a lot to do with it.
Definitely.
Much credit, I think, to a lot of these people that just had the confidence to pick up a camera and just do it.
And be the first ones to do it? I mean, because there's a lot of them doing it now and aren't getting that traction.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I would argue that it's probably harder to do, just because now it's become a mainstream thing, and everybody wants to be a YouTuber, an influencer, whatever, because
Saturated.
It's the new hot thing. And there you go. The saturation part of it, and within this realm, is kind of like the same within the toy category when a new movie drops. Everybody wants the hot thing. Everybody wants to be included into the hot thing. But if you can almost not really foresee, timing and luck has a lot to do with it. Positioning yourself to take advantage when the opportunity comes, is a very big thing. So I think
being able to recognize it too is a big thing.
So whether people started, for me, fitness and being into fitness and things like that, watching and following the influencers that I do, kind of understanding their backstory of how they got into it, was more so it started as, let me just document my transformation or my lifestyle change for myself and share it with the world. And through their own story that was compelling enough for me, and obviously hundreds of thousands of other people watching it, eventually led to their growth. And then they broke into the social digital age that we're in now, and that led to a lot of revenue opportunities for them. So
I would have thought, though, because I remember when YouTube first started, just people putting up videos. I don't think they ever thought they would start making money off of these videos.
No, I don't think so, too. It was just kind of one of those things like, oh, let me go watch some cat videos.
I was just about to talk about cats.
That's kind of how it was, right? Yeah. And then it just became its own thing. And here we are today.
Yeah.
Where now it's all about compelling content. And how do you continue to step that up?
Now, does it have to be compelling? Because that's what I was saying. It's like some of the stuff that these kids are watching isn't really that compelling.
I think it depends on like where you fall in the age range.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a kid.
Well, wait, okay, let me back this up then. There's videos out right now that are just about people like doing.
You have some people into weird things, man.
And it's super popular, like people eating and just listening to it, to them eat.
Oh my God, are you serious?
And it's super, super popular. And I don't know what it is. Like people use it for relaxation. So people use it to try to go to sleep. But it's something that's a big kind of trend. I don't know if you can call it a trend, but it's just something that's happening on the internet right now.
Yeah, like it's called like the ASMR.
Yeah, that's all you know.
I had no idea that this was a thing, but apparently Jordan does. So
look, I don't listen to people chew,
or
anything creepy like that. But if somebody has a deep, soothing voice, then maybe.
And like, what do they do? That whispering stuff.
Voice of an angel.
Oh yeah!
Damn it, Mike! Every episode you get me on something.
But yeah, no, that's what is compelling nowadays? It's what is it that's catching people's attention? Is it just something fresh, something new, something that tickles a certain nerve inside of them?
Well, okay, this can be broken down into also. Are you just kind of going and researching maybe like one thing that kind of settles you or calms you. You know, like some people like to go on YouTube and put on an hour-long like background like
Yeah.
white noise.
Might do
to
that
sleep.
to sleep actually.
To sleep, right?
Yeah.
But it's not something that you're subscribing to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, you know, because it's just something that you quickly search because it kind of it helps you in some way, shape, or form. But when I talk about compelling content, I mean, if you're following somebody, a channel in particular, whether it's an influencer or a toy review channel or an automotive review channel, like more compelling content more along the lines of that. Like maybe some of the execution, if it's an automotive channel, some of the cool stunts that they do with the car, or maybe good information.
A review channel,
Right
just
down to the
have a
editing.
preview of what I might buy.
Right,
Yeah.
right down to the editing. If it's a fitness channel, I think when you're talking about cool 30-second to minute edits of somebody working out, that can just give you a feeling of motivation of, you know, after you watch this, you're like, wow, now I want to go.
It's a dopamine rush.
Yeah. That can, I think at the end of the day, for me, is like after I watch this said compelling content, if it leaves me with a feeling, a very strong feeling of, wow, that was really cool. I think for me, that's what does it. And that's what captures my attention and gets me coming back for more, as opposed to white noise that helps me sleep.
Yeah, it's almost as if you're trying to go on a journey with this particular person, but then this one is just a quick fix for what you might need at that second, and then peace out. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, I think that from my perspective, you know, I try not to be an old man about it, and you know, I really try to realize that it may not make a ton of sense to me at this moment, but it makes sense to them, and I really get fascinated by trying to figure out why, like, you know, like what is happening in their heads right now that's making them watch videos of people chewing food.
Or paying money to watch a Twitch player.
Yeah.
You know, I try to get in their heads and I try to figure it out. Sometimes I can kind of see it. Sometimes I just don't understand it. But I want to understand it because that's the way social media, media consumption is going. And
Insert clip right here of the last podcast where I talked about trying to get into the heads of guys doing burnouts. Yeah. And it frustrates me, so I just don't even try.
Hey, we should make a Twitch account, but like try to be the worst player possible, and then see if people pay for that. Just play Call of Duty and go 0-30 kills.
Almost got him.
Deaths.
Almost got him.
and then see if people actually pay to watch that.
Oh man, you know it's funny because I remember back when I was in another design studio way back after I got out of college, and at the end of the day, all of us would start up Unreal Tournament and play. And there was one girl that you're running through the halls, getting shooting everything, and there's one girl facing the gun straight at the ceiling, just running around, not knowing how to control anything, and it's like the funniest thing in the world. I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know if that'll still be funny today because how kids are, they're like so pro at all these games already anyways. It's like, I don't know what they would.
It's a different age, man.
Yeah, man, it's a trip.
Completely different age. And I'm talking like I'm 60.
Oh, damn, on the inside we are.
I feel like it.
Dude, no, we're not because we're working at a toy company.
That is true. That is true.
There are days.
Yeah.
There are days.
Yeah, that's true. So, want to try to get back on track?
Oh,
Another one of our lovely tangents.
yeah. I guess I have questions that I'm supposed to be asking. So where do we see ourselves evolving in the realm of digital and social?
I think every day is a process of learning something new regarding the social digital space, and also seeing what we can improve on. Because I think relating this back to us as a company or maybe even other companies, it's kind of baffling how some haven't got on board to really take the time to learn how it works and whatnot. So some might be ahead of the game more than others. I feel that we as a company do a very good job as far as our social and digital representation, just because of the amount of time and effort that we put into it. But with that said, there's always going to be something new for us to learn and to improve on, whether that's the shopping experience, the e-commerce experience on a digital platform. Maybe it's doing a better job at responding to fans and
I think I
kinda-
do a good job at that.
no, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we
just
do,
overall.
and I think that's what kind of separates us from other toy companies, is because we do take the time out of our day to really interact with them, right? But as far as that kind of goes hand in hand with the customer service thing, also,
Yeah.
right? I think there's always going to be facets within that here and there that we can look to improve, right down to the content. We started posting our product images just on regular white background. It's the same images that you would find on a retailers.com website when you go to our product page. But in the last couple months, really making an effort to create a little bit more of a lifestyle content, where now we have our product with a really scenic background, maybe a very vibrant background to add a little bit of life, to highlight the product itself. Throwing that out there, seeing what the engagement is like, and then really inspiring, or at least trying to inspire, the fan base to try and go and recreate something like that. And that's just the content piece of it. That I think there's so many different facets of it that can constantly be improved.
Right now, I think we're also in kind of a transitional period. Not us as a company, but the world as a whole, where there's still people who kind of are against what the internet is and what you can achieve with the internet, or they just don't want to learn it because they're more old school,
Yeah.
right? Or they're scared of it, or I don't know what it is. But there's the new school kids who are all about it, and that's how they get everything. We're probably really good examples of right there being on that borderline of being old school, going into the brick and mortar stores and buying stuff, and then also like Amazon and buying everything from Amazon. We have to look at that and embrace it and know that that's the direction things are going is
Right.
so knowing that a lot of you guys out there can't get the product that we sell because of the brick and mortar stores aren't carrying it. Maybe it's time to transfer over into the internet realm and try to get your stuff from there. And we'll do our part to try to make it available for you on the internet. And those are the kind of things that we're working towards to help the consumer find the products that they really want from us. And I think that's some of the things that we also have to work on as a company. But we also have to be careful because, it's still in that transitional stage. We can't just ignore the brick and mortar. We still have to. But we also have to watch where it's going on the internet.
Yeah. It's funny because I can recall a time when I first started here, and I texted Mike. I still remember, like, to this day. I texted Mike and I was like, "Hey, do we have a social media like channel or an Instagram page or whatever and things like that?" And he was like, "Yeah, but it was not really active." I was like, "I think we could do something with it." And
Yeah.
at the time, the Jada Toys page only had 73 Instagram
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
73
Yeah.
when I took it. It was 73.
By the way, so we cracked 41,000 today.
Y'all
Oh,
are
congratulations.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job, guys.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, but that was like 7 years ago, something like that. It's been some time, but at that time, when
You know what? Also, that 73 wasn't Jada Toys. It was Jada Club. Because remember, we had Jada Club at the beginning.
oh, that's right.
So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
even the one that we have now. That's that 41. So 41 started from zero.
Damn.
Later on, we were still trying to build up Jada Club at the time because
Yeah.
I don't think Jada Toys was available. Is that how it went, Brian? It was something like that. It was. Oh yeah. So it was some weird thing where we couldn't get the Jada Toys Instagram because some weird thing.
Yeah.
But we were able to get Jada Club.
The
And
OG.
The OG. Yeah. That was the OG, and we are planning to do something with that still, right?
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I remember very clearly, and that was when Instagram was still pretty. I mean, it was already kind of solidified. People were already on it, but it was still pretty new at the time. Also, social media was just starting to become a thing. A lot of people were just, kind of getting into Facebook. So, kind of taking forth that initiative and just trying to have a little bit of fun with it and have create a little bit more of a personality, I think. And you start bringing that to various meetings and things like that, and different companies, partners or whatever are not, they're not really understanding it. So when you're talking about your marketing strategy and you say that social media is part of your marketing strategy, these are some of the things that we're doing. They're just kind of scratching their heads like, this is not really a big deal, right? Or maybe not that it wasn't that big of a deal. It's just more so that they didn't understand it, I think, and it's just kind of got brushed off. But now you go to any partner meeting, whether it's a licensor meeting or a retailer meeting, and they're asking you, if it's a licensor meeting, they're telling you what it is exactly, how they're going to blow it out on social and digital. This is going to be our content strategy for the next year or two. They have it on lock. And then when you go to a retailer meeting, they're asking you, what are you going to do on social and digital? What's your plan? Yeah. Right? It's funny to see that change because now these big box retailers and big licensors that we work with have now shifted into and really embraced the social digital aspect of it and really realize how powerful of an engine that it can be, as versus when we first started and people didn't really understand it.
Well, let's kind of bring this back around when we talked about like instant consumption of stuff.
Yeah.
Before in advertising, there was long lead advertising and short lead advertising.
Yeah.
Social media, there's no such thing as long lead.
No, at all.
No.
It's like that.
Yep.
So,
and that's kind of where we are and now. Right these days, if we need to promote something, it's like we can have something out tomorrow. Just it's really quick. The turnaround is really fast now.
It's funny too because like to that point, yeah, even though things can happen very, very quick and you want to give it a little bit of a boost, now you can put money behind an advertisement on social media and it's not like your budget is anything crazy. When you're talking
now.
Right. So when you're talking about a traditional TV commercial and you're trying to run like airtime on it, that can cost you an arm and a leg. Mm-hmm. Like it's a very significant portion of a marketing budget. But now you're talking if you take the same TV spot that you were going to run airtime on and you opted not to and you wanted to run it digitally on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube and things like that. Your budget behind promoting that digitally or on the digital space versus a traditional TV space is significantly less. So it's funny now because in some of the things that we put together as a marketing team of a proposed social digital media budget for certain brands, when we send that out, sometimes the feedback is you're only putting like $1,000 behind this promotion. That doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the beauty of social media right now. If you wanted to run or social and digital media rather, if you wanted to run a promotional campaign piece on something that lasts for 5 to 7 days, which you can also dictate, targeting an age range of 18 to let's say 45, and at a certain location or interest based on keywords and hashtags and things like that, you can dictate all of that, and at a small amount of like $1,000 as opposed to $500,000. You're still reaching a good amount of people, probably a little bit more effectively too.
It's underpriced attention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the interesting piece to all of it too, is now when you're talking about budgeting and how you're going to allocate X amount of dollars behind a piece, or if you're going to go full on, media campaign, you can really dictate what that will be.
Yeah, you bring up a good point with digital advertising, which is the part that you can target a specific group, a demographic, and makes your money go a lot farther. With TV commercials, traditional TV commercials, you spend like $1 million, you're just blanketing across the United States, and you don't know who's watching it and who cares about it. But with social media, you can say, I want this kind of person who's into this kind of stuff, or male or female, age grades or whatever, anything that you can tell them exactly what you want, and that's what they'll hit. And
and those will track all those metrics. Like
yeah,
everything, yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
now with like all the cookies and all that stuff, how people shop and how you're able to capture information. I mean, it just makes it that much easier to get it in front of the right audience's face, I think. You know, so for example, when you're talking about Fast and Furious, which is a big part of what we do here, we make a lot of Fast and Furious product. We have a new item, the Drift RC, and we just created a 30-second TV spot, but we're not running it traditionally. We're running it via our social and digital networks. And the way it'll hit, or at least come across to people, is it'll be based on a search history of people that have shown known behavior of anything automotive, anything radio control, anything diecast, anything collectible, pop culture even. Anything that falls within those categories, that piece is going to show up on a YouTube ad. And I know people hate these YouTube ads. I do too. But that's just kind of the world that we live in.
Everyone hated TV commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, but you still watch them,
Except for the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Right?
They
one time a year.
they created their own little like culture.
Yeah, where commercials were the thing to watch.
Yeah.
You know? But kind of going back to it, like it's really unbelievable, I think, the amount of control that you have as far as now really going into detail and targeting the right consumer. You know, it's very fascinating, I think.
It is.
And that's just everything that social and digital space has opened up as far as the opportunity goes.
Yeah. So where are you at, Brian?
47 minutes.
That was quick.
That went really
That went really,
quick.
really fast.
Yeah.
It felt pretty fast.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have reached our time limit for today because it's 6:00 and we want to go home and pet our dogs and kiss our wives.
I thought you were a cat person.
I'm a cat and a dog guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
I got 2 fur babies waiting for me at home.
Oh man. Okay. What about you, Mike?
I got a 250-gallon aquarium.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're going fishing.
just go kill all of Mike's fish.
Yep.
Which
All
one do you
right.
feel like having tonight?
Yeah, tilapia, baby.
Say it real slow.
Wild caught. All right, guys, and so that's it for today. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we are now being streamed everywhere, so you have no excuse not to listen to us. We'll be here next week. See you next time.
I'm Mike.
I'm Daryl.
And I'm Jordan, you know.
Thanks.